Hi. Hello. Good evening, everybody. It's me again, Michelle from Summit. Welcome to Summit Late Evening Thoughts. Tonight, we are glad to have two gentlemen who are joining us from Singapore, Mr. Chua Yimin and Mr. Beng Hui. Mr. Chua is one of our Summit CFA workshop trainer. He has more than 11 years of experience in investment industry. Tonight, let's hear from him the time value of money and do you have enough for retirement? So, whereas Mr. Beng Hui, the chairman of AB Maximus, will join us towards the end of the session. The floor over to you, Imin.
Thank you, Michelle. Can you just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me loud and clear? Okay. Just make sure everyone can hear me.
Towards the end of the session. The floor over to you.
Thank you, Michelle. Can you just give me a thumbs up? Okay, let me just get my slides up. Okay, great. Let me get started. So once again, thank you so much for inviting me over this evening. This Facebook Live thing is actually quite interesting. I have done Facebook Live before, but definitely not in this format. But anyway, welcome. Thank you so much for allowing me to share. I'm actually going to do a very quick preview on this topic called time value of money. So of course, is one of the main topic for CFA level 1 student. Maybe just do me a favor, those in the house, appreciate if you can let me know your profile. If you are already a CFA candidate going to take CFA exam soon, don't mind just help me type a 1 into the chat box or into the comment section so that I know what your profile is. If let's say if you are only considering or you have not signed for CFA exam yet, please help me type a 0. So 0 being that you have not really registered for exams. 1 is you are actually a CFA candidate. So don't mind just key in either 0 or 1 into the chat so that I roughly know your profile. Okay. So very quickly, I'm actually going to show you, if you actually join our program, if you come to our lessons, what we will be going through to help you master this topic. Okay, so the keyword here is actually master. No, if you actually want to study yourself, you want to learn yourself, actually it's actually quite possible. You can do that. So by studying yourself, can you pass exam? Yes, it's actually quite possible. But the key thing here is this, after you learn, after you pass the exam, can you apply in the real world situation? Can you provide value in the finance sector? Can you really help people with the knowledge you have here? That is the challenge. Okay, that's the challenge. Yes, if you are very good with exams, you are very good with memory work, very good with schoolwork, yeah, no problem. But the difficult part here is this: how do you actually apply in the real world scenario? So this is where attending a course will be very helpful because for us, like myself, the reason why I'm being invited to teach this topic because I use time value of money on my daily work. Okay, I use it for my daily basis. I am predominantly a retail investor trainer, and I also help them do financial planning. So I use all these concepts on a daily basis. And if let's say, for example, if you have a topic on accounting, you won't be seeing me. Okay, we have another subject matter expert to come and share. Okay, so without further ado, let me just push ahead with the lesson. So once again, if you missed my name just now, my name is Emin. My name is Emin, of course, a CFA chartered holder. I'm a regional investment speaker. I actually speak quite widely in Singapore and Malaysia. Unfortunately, this year can't really go to Malaysia much. Could miss Malaysia quite a bit already. Hopefully, I get to go back very soon. And I'm also a resident trainer for the SGX Academy. Okay, now, of course, time value of money, I believe if you have done finance topic before is nothing very complicated. It's talking about $1 today, $1 1 year later. They are not equal to each other. Okay, because of this concept called interest rate. Okay, in this concept called interest rate. And of course, $1 1 year later in today's term is actually going to be lesser because you are actually sacrificing your demand for today, sacrificing the use of today. And if let's say you want to use 1 year later, you should actually deserve a bit more. and the function is actually based on the interest rate. Okay, so basically you can actually have this equation for the relations of future value is equal to present value, bracket 1 plus R, 1 plus the interest rate power n. So this is the very simple relationship of the time value of money. Future value equal present value multiplied by 1 plus interest rate power n, which is number of years or number of payment periods. Okay, so of course, use numbers will be easier to explain. If you invest $100 in an account paying 6%, what would be your future value of money be in 1 year's time, 2 years' time? So basically, if let's say you put $100 in a bank account that gives you 6%, okay, 1 year later, your $100 is 100 multiplied by 1.06, should be equal to $106, and of course, 2 years is 100 multiplied by 1.06 because there's 2 payment period, and then it's actually 2, so it's actually equal to 112.36. Okay, so of course you can actually use a financial calculator to solve the problem. So for the CFA exam, your financial calculator is your best friend. There's no way you can pass the CFA exam without the financial calculator. So in fact, the main bulk of the financial calculator training is during my lesson on time value of money, whereby we'll go through exercises and make sure you are very familiar with how to use all the calculator functions. Okay, so let me just do an actual demonstration here. And of course, for those who are candidate, please take note now, you can only use 2 brands of the calculator, of which this is one of them. You cannot use your Casio or use your whichever other brand that you're familiar with. Okay, only 2 brands, of which one is the Texas BA2 Plus. Okay, now go back to the question. So of course, you can actually solve using calculator. If let's say, if you have $100 today, present value, you put at 6% interest, after 2 years, okay, you will get 112.36. So you actually learn all this in the class, you practice all this. Of course, CFA exam questions will not be that easy, but slowly we actually built up to get to more complicated questions. So if you actually want to do the reverse, instead of calculating future value, you want to calculate a present value. Okay, so you can see that the formula is just a bit of reshuffling of the formula. PV is equal to FV, okay, divided by 1 plus R power N, 1 plus R power N. So again, if that is easier to illustrate with numbers, let's say investment promise pay you 1,002 at end of 15 years. What is the most you will be willing to pay for it today if your minimum acceptable rate of return is 8%? So to find the present value, you take 1,002 divided by 1.08 R, which is the return, and of course 15 years, and you can get 378.29. Okay, obviously you can again use the calculator to solve this question. Okay, you can use the calculator to solve this question. So let's say 1,002 future value, 8% interest, 15N to compute PV, okay, 378.29. Okay, now the other concept that I need to go through before we talk about applications, actually this concept called annuities. What is an annuity? Annuity is basically a series of equal cash flow. Series of equal cash flow. So in fact, if you think about it, there are quite a bit of financial product that is actually in an equity format. Like for example, your mortgage loan. Okay, your mortgage loan, you have to pay actually every month is the same amount. Okay, series of equal cash flow. Okay, or like for example, your insurance premium. Your insurance premium, again, same thing. If let's say you buy endowment, every month or every year you pay the equal cash flow, or if you actually buy annuity, every month or every year you actually get equal cash flow. So you can actually have it again, you can actually use time value of money to concept to actually calculate the present value, future value, and the payment. Okay, so again, I think it's easier to use numbers to explain. So here's the thing, what is the present value of a 10-year, 10,000 ordinary annuity if the discount rate is 4%? So what it says here is this: assuming you actually get 10,000 every year for the next 10 years. Okay, 10,000 every year for the next 10 years. So what is the equivalent present value today if the discount is 4%? Or put it this way, let's say, for example, you want to buy an annuity product that actually give you 4% return. Okay, the annual product give 4% return. And to calculate the price of this annuity product, so given that you are going to get 10,000 every year, you are going to get 4% return, what should be the cost of this annuity product? You can actually use time value of money concept to calculate. So basically, in this case, you will be calculating what we call PV, present value. Okay, so now we actually put 10,000 PMT. Then for 10 years, at 4%, okay, then you go compute present value, so you get 81108.96. So of course, during the class, you will actually go through quite a bit of questions. You will actually go through quite a bit of exercises to make sure you get it right. So what is ordinary annuity? What is annuity due? But please take note, CFA exam not so simple. He will actually ask you very application type of question, which we'll come to that very soon. I'm just going through some of the basic concept first. Okay, so of course, if you want, you can, calculate FV as well. Let's say how much will you have at end of 4 years if you invest in an account paying 8%, assuming you deposit at the end of each year. So let's say, for example, at end of every year, you deposit, if I put $500 in this bank account, you do that continuously for 4 years, and this account actually give you 8%. So obviously, the first 500 you actually put in year 1, you're actually going to get more interest. The second will actually get lesser, third get lesser, fourth get lesser. Okay, so how much you actually get in 4 years? Also, same thing, you can actually use this row of buttons to help you solve. Okay, so in this case, we want to find FV, future value. Okay, you are going to deposit 500 every year for 4 years at 8% interest. Okay, you will actually get 2,253 at end of the 4 years. So this is the concept of present value, future value, and the concept of annuity. Okay, now let's come to something that is more CFA type of question. So usually this is quite similar. Like I said, it's a very application-based type of question. Okay, application-based type of question. Okay, so it's not so straightforward. As you give you number calculator, you have to actually learn how to apply. Okay, so again, like I said, so in fact, this is if you want to go for the CFA exam, okay, if you really want to take the trouble, take 3 years of your life to actually take this examination, okay, the main takeaway is just learn how to apply the concept. Learn how to apply the concept. So this is not exam whereby after you survive through, you just have CFA, the letter CFA at the back of your name, and you learn nothing. No. So in fact, what is more important than the 3 alphabet is the knowledge you have gained, the understanding, and able to apply. Okay, if you ask me, if you really want to go through, that should be the main gateway. You gain the knowledge and you know how to apply. So I really urge you, okay, for those who, after you have read yourself, you don't understand, okay, I really urge you to come for the class. This is our difference. Okay, we make sure you know how to actually apply the concept in the real world scenario. Okay, so this is actually quite close already. So of course, I got an example later, like what Michelle say. A lot of us cannot retire. I make you all sad, calculate for you, but it's actually quite difficult to retire if you don't plan for it. Okay, anyway, here's the question. In 18 years, Bob's daughter will start college with an expected annual tuition fee of 30,000 due at the start of each of her 4 years. Okay, how much must Bob deposit at the end of each of the next 18 years to finance the tuition if his account earn 4.8% per year? Okay, so of course the best way is actually to draw a timeline to explain the question. So this is what happened. 0 means today. 0 means today. 1 is actually 1 year means end of year 1. Okay, 0 is today, 1 is end of year 1. So this is what happened here. Okay, what I say here is this: at the end of 18 years later, okay, Bob's daughter will actually start college. Okay, and she need 30,000 at the beginning of the year. So beginning of year 18, beginning of year 19, so on and so forth. Okay, so the question here is this: how much does he need to deposit at end of each 18 year? So the first thing here is we need to find out at this point in time, okay, end of 18, what is the total amount required? So basically it's the PV of a annuity payment. So again, we can actually do this using the calculators. Okay, so to begin with, we actually need to set it to beginner mode. Okay, we actually need to get it into beginners mode. So of course, I don't think I actually want to go into detail today what is beginners mode, what is end mode, of what all this you actually learn in class. Okay, but there's actually some slight difference in terms of timing. Beginning at the period, end of period. Okay, there's actually some difference. So we at the beginning of each year, she actually need about $30,000 for her school fees. She need it for 4 years. Okay, and the interest rate is 4.8%. Okay, so the present value is actually equal to $112,000, which is here $112,000.05. So basically $30,000 for the next 4 years. The equivalent present value at the point of 18 years. Okay, the equivalent present value at the point of end of 18 years is actually equal to 112,004. So I'll put it this way: 112,004, okay, is equal to 30,000 over the next 4 years. Okay, now, so the question here is this: how much he actually need to save? Okay, so I have to bring it back to end mode. Okay, so basically now his target is to have 112,005 at the end of 18 years. Okay, so like I say, it's actually 18 years and he can get 4.8%. Okay, this time now, you know every year how much you need to save. You have to go compute PMT. So you can see here, okay, every year he actually need to save $4,056 for 18 years so that he can actually accumulate 112,005 on year 18. So again, you can actually see this is a very practical calculation. So this is what all the financial planners out there can actually help you to do to make sure that now you have enough, can actually hit your financial objective. Okay, if there is any questions, feel free to key in the questions on the comment section. Okay, I'll be very happy to answer along the way. And of course, my colleague at the side can actually help to read it out. I actually see some questions. Okay, if there's any questions for me, please feel free to key in. Okay, good. So I think Michelle actually very concerned about retirement. So I will scare her again so that she's always motivated to work harder. Do we have enough for retirement now? Okay, really, what I really want to express here is this. A lot of people thought that, finance, investment is just to get rich, for people to get rich, for people to make a lot of money. Okay, not true. So in fact, finance professionals like myself, like ourselves, or like yourself, if eventually going to be, we're actually here to solve quite a major social problem. Okay, we're actually here quite to solve a major social problem. So in fact, based on numbers, a lot of us actually cannot afford to retire, or at least, sustain our lifestyle on the day we retire. Okay, and if we want to do that, we must have enough planning. We must actually do enough planning for it. Okay, so unfortunately, a lot of people either don't know, or either that know already don't care. And if this trend going on, there will be a lot of taxing for our future generation. We're actually going to need our future generation to pay for our retirement. Okay, so don't see investment as just make money greedy. No, in fact, the way I see it, we play a very, very important role to solve a social problem ahead. So let me just illustrate this clearly. Okay, please pardon me. Like Michelle mentioned, I'm actually from Singapore, so I may not be so familiar with the Malaysia statistics. So I'll actually use a Singapore example to actually illustrate this point. But I have been training in Malaysia for a while. Basically, both Singapore and Malaysia, we have more or less the same issue, same problem. Okay, so let me use myself example. So I am actually 45 this year. Okay, hopefully I look younger. If you think that I look younger, please give me a thumbs up. Yeah, if you think I look older, okay, then never mind. That one don't need to tell me. Okay, I'm 45 this year. Then I am actually going to retire at 65. Hopefully I can retire at 65. Okay, now so basically I have 20 years to save for retirement. Okay, I actually sat down my wife once. Of course, now we're actually all talking in SGD Sing dollar. Sat down my wife once. Currently, me and my wife, okay, for our living expense, okay, we actually need about $4,000 per month. Okay, 4,000 Sing dollar per month for our living expense. So this one is, of course, excluding like my kids' education, my housing loan, which when I'm retired by right shouldn't have a. So basically, this $4,000. Okay, this $4,000 is I will need to spend even when I retire, as long as I can breathe, I can walk. Then me and my wife together will need to spend this $4,000. Okay, of course now today this basket of goods that cost $4,000, 20 years later it wouldn't be the same amount. Okay, 20 years later it will be more expensive. Okay, I'm quite sure everybody know because of actually this thing called inflation. Okay, inflation. Okay, inflation is actually about 3%. And like I said, I am actually going to retire in about 20 years' time. So you can see here, basically with the time value of calculation, you can actually help to calculate whatever that costs $4,000 today, 20 years later, how much will the same basket of goods cost given that inflation is actually 3%. So of course, you can actually work out with your calculator again. Okay, you can actually work out with your calculator. Okay, 4,000 present value. Then inflation 3% at 20 years. Okay, compute future value is actually equal to 7,224. 7,224. Okay, so take note. Whatever that costs $4,000 today, because inflation 3%, it becomes 7,224. So as you can see here, this is where we actually apply the time value of money calculation already. Okay, now, so of course, I need 7,200 per month. Okay, per year, I actually need 12, 86,000 per year to sustain my lifestyle. 86,000 per year to sustain my life. And by the way, I don't live very lavishly. I live like an average Singaporean. It's not that I get to eat good food. So in fact, I think I'm very envy of Malaysia have better food than me. So anyway, so it's quite it's actually quite good to actually plan up to 85 years old. So if you actually go to financial planner, you should actually plan up to 85 years old. Of course, there is a more detailed explanation of how do you calculate the total sum required. But of course, today, in the interest of time, I probably have to leave this part of calculation, during the class itself. But basically, okay, the retirement fund I need at 65, okay, can be summarized into just 85688 multiplied by the number of years you actually need to last, which is actually equal to 1.7 million. Okay, so for me to actually sustain my lifestyle, okay, for me to sustain my lifestyle after I retire, the day I retire, I actually need 1.7 million. And of course, for Malaysian, you multiply that by 3, about there. Okay, so basically, if you are 45 years old, you're 65, you want to retire without sacrificing a current lifestyle. On the day I retire 65, you need 5 million ringgit in your bank account. So for me, I need about 1.7. Okay, so is it easy to have 1.7 million Sing dollar at 65, or 5 million ringgit, at 65? Okay, unfortunately, it's not that easy. Not that easy. Okay, now here's the thing. Currently, so assuming for most standard Singaporean of 45 age, probably we have about 100,000 in a bank account as savings. So by the way, Singaporeans very poor. Don't think that Singapore, you make $1 become $3. Our expenses is also very scary. You drive one Porsche in Malaysia, is I think equal to us driving the Toyota, probably about the same price if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I actually check. If I actually drive a Toyota in Singapore, I can go to Malaysia and drive a C class. Yes. Okay. So we are also quite poor. Okay. So you can see, let's say present value, assuming I have currently in my bank account 100,000. And let's say every year I can actually save about 20,000 from work. Every year I can save about $20,000 from work. Okay. And Singapore, unfortunately, Singapore, the interest rate is quite low. So for Singaporeans, most of us, we actually put money in either this place called the bank, fixed deposit, or we call it CPF, which is your EPF equivalent. Okay. So roughly on average, we probably only get interest about 2%. If let's say for most Singaporeans, they just put in banks and CPF, which is your equivalent EPF. Okay, their interest also get only 2%. And of course, we are talking about 20 years later. So if let's say this is a standard Singaporean profile, I have $100,000 today. Every month I save about 2,000. Every year can save about 20,000. My money growing at 2%. My money growing at 2%. And I need 20 years later, we discuss profile, how much money do I have? Okay, so again, if you can do your time value of money calculation, okay, if you do your time value of money calculation, in this case, you are calculating every year. Okay, we got $100,000 today, present value, 20,000. Okay, savings every year at 2% interest. Okay, over 20 years. Okay, end of 20 years, we will only get $634,000. Can you see what is happening or not? Okay, are you able to see what is happening? Okay, so this is quite a serious problem. Can you see? For me to sustain a lifestyle, I need 1.7 million. But unfortunately, if let's say I'm just like another Singaporean, don't invest, put money in, savings and fixed deposit, okay, I am actually going to be $1 million short. And what is going to happen? So think about it. If let's say I have only 600,000 at the point of on the way of retirement, every year I need to actually spend 86,000, assuming. Okay, I take this one, divide by 86. Okay, this money can only last me for 7 years. That means at 72, I'm broke already. I have to depend on my children already to survive. Okay, this can be a very serious problem for the nation. If this is happening to most family. After 7 years, 72, that means we have to burden our children. Okay, so my point here is this: don't always just see that investment is about money, money, money. So in fact, one of the reason why I've decided to do what I do today, sorry, I actually didn't introduce myself more. I'm actually now a full-time retail investment trainer. I actually teach for a living. I provide investment education for a living, for retail investor. And this is my main topic, like trying to tell people, hey, look, don't always think that investment is for people who are greedy, get rich quick. No, in fact, in today's context, if you don't invest, very likely you're going to suffer in the future. Okay, and to my surprise, in fact, a lot of people don't know about this. A lot of people think that, don't have to worry, as long as I work hard, eventually I have enough. No, okay, a lot of us, we actually need to invest. And now the worst is, now a lot of people don't know, but know already, then don't do anything. Okay, so that's why, what my mission is, really go and nag at them until they actually go and do something about it. Okay, so of course, if you know early, things can get better. Okay, like for example, instead of getting 2%, assuming that you can generate high return. So let's say, for example, instead of 2%, let's say it's 8%. Okay, let's say it's 8%. How much money do we actually have? Okay, so let's say, for example, in this case, present value is 10,000 present value, 20,000 payment, 8% for 20 years, and compute FV. Okay, so if it's 8%, you can actually hit about 1.38 million. Okay, 1.38 million. So of course, if let's say, for example, this is the max, what else can we do? That means if I want to be better prepared for my retirement, I tell, hey, cannot lah. I 1 month maybe cannot just save 2,000. Maybe I need to save a bit more. Maybe I need to save like 30,000 per year, or work out to that 2,005 per month. Okay, instead of saving 2,000 per month, maybe I need to save about 2,005. Okay, and now let's see whether could I actually hit the 1.7 better. Okay, so again, 100,000 PB, 30,000 PMT, 8%, 20 years, then compute FV. Okay, 1.8. Phew. Okay, so at least, if you know early, you go and do that. Number one, save more money. Number two, make sure your money can grow. Then you don't have to worry. Okay, you can actually sustain your retirement for actually the next 20 years. So hopefully you can see the importance of investment finance and especially this topic. So there is actually a lot of practical application. Unfortunately, I don't have time to actually share more. So in fact, if you actually attend my class, I also do real estate consulting. I can actually through this method to calculate what is the fair value of property. So in fact, I have done a lot of studies. Properties in KLCC is actually undervalued. Okay, property is KLCC is actually undervalued. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but you wait for the high-speed rail to be up. Once Singapore can actually go up and actually buy property, you can see the property price will rocket. Okay, why is it undervalued? There is a very scientific way to actually calculate. Okay, how should you actually value property? Like for example, a lot of people say that Singapore property price is crazy. Singapore property is bubble. Actually, that is not true. That is not true. Again, you can use time value of money to actually calculate. So hopefully I paint a picture to you here. Okay, number one, if you actually want to go for a CFA exam, you want to sacrifice the tree of a life, please learn. The main takeaway is that knowledge is not that three alphabet. So in fact now, if you realize I don't even bother to put the three alphabet already. So um, after a while, if your knowledge is so good, your name will supersede the three alphabet. I no longer need the three alphabet to tell people who I am already. Why? Because I have internalized the knowledge. I have actually made use of knowledge. So please, if you are interested to you spend 3 years of life, learn properly lah. Don't just think of mugging. Don't know, don't understand. Just stare, burn the paper and drink. Then go for exam. No, please. Okay. Learn the correct way, which is don't just see the context, don't just memorize, learn how to apply. Learn how to apply. Okay. Or like what I did. Of course, in classes, then we show you know how to apply. And hopefully from here, you can see a different meaning in investment and finance. So investment is not just greedy, make the rich richer. No, as you can see here, you're actually here to solve a very important social problem here. Okay, I know some of you here, like Singaporeans, you have to take after you have to look after your parents. You have to keep, uh, you know, um, financially, supporting them even now. Oh, so can you imagine if let's say a lot of people don't know about this? Okay, the part about being burdened to next generation always there. So if let's say there's enough people that realize this, enough people that start investing, enough people that start this proper financial planning, we can stop this whole cycle altogether, and we have no longer need to, burden our next generation. Okay. So my time is roughly up. So anyway, so of course, investment plan. So eventually when you graduate from CFA program, hopefully you can join me in my journey in spreading the message, telling people, hey, look, investment is not for those who are greedy. In fact, in today's context, most of us actually need to invest, and hopefully more people realize this, start their financial planning early. And of course, some of you will be helping them to increase their returns. So how do you actually increase from 2% to 8% to 10%? So some of you actually will be involved in a job which, of course, the subsequent CFA lessons eventually will prepare you for. Okay, so hopefully I've shared something interesting with you. I really look forward to see you in the classes so that I can share more. Also, like I said, please learn how the concepts apply in the real world. Don't just learn for the sake of passing exam. Get proper guidance. Get proper guidance. So like I said, for the class by EB Maximus, by Sunway Test, we actually get subject matter expert. So like I said, you only see me for time value of money class. Econs class, we get econs expert. Accounting class, we get accounting expert, so that you can get different real life experience being shared to you. Okay. Of course, once you see the learning come to life, you will do our exams, and most importantly is your financial career. So you can really do a financial career, like really internalize the knowledge. Like today, I don't even need the 3-letter CFA to prove who I am. Just by my knowledge, which I learned from CFA, I'm very happy. I'm leading a quite decent life. Okay. Hopefully, whatever you learned today is interesting to you. Hopefully, we can still remain friends, keep in contact. Do like me on my Facebook page. You can scan the QR code. Okay, not sure you can scan. If you're watching on the phone, maybe you can scan. But if you're watching on laptop, maybe you can scan the QR code and like me, please, so that we can remain friends, keep in contact. Of course, any questions you can private message me. I'll be very happy to answer. Or either that, you can go to my Facebook link, facebook.com/I am Chua. Okay, good. 9:45, perfect timing. So with that, I will pass on to my colleague to share more about the CFA program. Okay, thank you so much. Hope to see you soon. Beng Hui, the stage is yours.
Thanks a lot, Emin, for the sharing. So I only have a few slides to share with everybody. Basically, just informing everyone about the program that is available in Malaysia next year. And all three levels of the CFA program will be offered through our partners, Sunway Test. And next slide, please. So, okay, so some information before we, here it is. For level 1, our regular classes will start from January, and it's all the way until 10th of April. Thereafter, we will have revision and then a mock exam. So this year for the level 1, we have some dates there, but of course dates are subject to changes, right? Yeah. Okay, so on the exam dates, the exam is administered by CFA Institute. So you have to, from time to time, check regularly for the updates, especially in the current scenario, right? Things can be changed, things can be postponed. But regardless, the first semester next year will start 9th of January. Okay, so as what Emin has mentioned, the regular online classes, primarily the lecturers will come from Singapore and Malaysia. And then when we have the online revision, the bulk of the revision is run by our revision specialists who are also part of the widely global instructors from either Canada or from the UK. But of course, a small part of the revision will also be taught by our regular instructors locally in Singapore or Malaysia. So for now, the first semester next year will still continue to be online like this year. So just before the exam, we will also run a mock exam, and this is also online. Okay, so we offer here study program, and of course, you can also sign up for online revision on its own as well. Okay, next slide, please. So in addition to level 1, we offer level 2. So again, there are some dates here, and level 2 actually starts in February. Okay, and then it's until the end of April. So similar components within the preparation class, so regular classes, revision, online exam before the actual exam. So the thing is, from next year, the level 2 will be also available several times in a year. Previously, it's only available once a year in June, but going forward, it will be available twice. And some of you may be aware, the examinations will be computer-based, right? Computer-based. So that's why the CFA exam date is not one particular date, but over several days. So within this examination window, you need to book which particular day you want to take the test, and book with a specific test center. Basically, it's like a computer lab, right? Okay, so that's the level 2 dates. On to the next slide. In level 3, so we offer study programs, study groups, revision. So in the same manner as well, dates are slightly different. So we start middle of January and then until the middle of April. So essentially the regular classes is over 3 months, and then after that online revision, mock exam. So again, similar to level 2, level 3 for the first time ever is tested twice a year, uh, June and then again towards the end of the year. So these are the exam timetable, basically the class timetable. So if you're keen, and in any case, you can always get the latest timetable from Michelle, and also the registration forms if you're keen. Is open for registration very, very soon. And then my last slide, of course, is the contact information slide. But before we do that, yep, this is our simple rinse and repeat formula. The simple rinse and repeat formula. Really, actually, there is no, I would say there's no real secret sauce to passing the exams, right? It's really putting in the regular, consistent work, right? Whether you're doing self-study on your own or coming for classes uh, with us, basically before classes, we prefer uh, participants to do some pre-reading first, either read the study guide that is bundled with the program. So Wiley materials, the Wiley study guide is bundled uh, with the study program that we have, or you can also use the CFA Institute textbook it comes along with your exam registration, basically. And then after that, come for classes or watch videos. And then after that, at the end of each cycle, try out the questions that is available. Right, since we are using the Wiley materials, of course, you will be able to access the Wiley test bank and try out those questions after each study session or after each class. At the same time, CFA Institute itself also provides some practice questions to candidates, so that's available, right? So every lesson or every class, you basically repeat the same cycle. Of course, as part of the revision portion of the program, we provide mock exams. So mock exams are already bundled in with the Wiley study package that we have. It's part of the Sunway program anyway. And of course, during the mock exam dates that I mentioned just now, there are additional mock exams provided, and we try to run this, under examination conditions. Yeah, so basically these are the few slides that I wanted to share with all of you, and of course the last slide after this. Yeah, basically our contact details. You could contact any of us, Andrew, who is helping us manage the Malaysia classes, and of course you can contact Michelle from Sunway anytime. You need any information about the classes, anything at all, feel free to reach out to us. Right, you can see on your screen, scrolling below, yeah, Michelle's email address and Andrew's email address as well. So with that, we would like to open the floor to questions. If you have, feel free to ask questions about the presentation by email just now. Indeed, right? It's all about application. End of the day, whatever we're trying to learn, trying to get the designation, trying to further our career, really end of the day is what is valuable is to be able to apply all this knowledge professionally or for our own P&L, right? Regardless of what it is, knowledge is always useful. Okay, so I think there are some, please feel free to post any questions if you have. Okay, so there are some questions I see post in the chat. So asking about it's only for lectures and tutorials. We will have to self-enroll in the exam via CFA Institute. Yes, the answer is yes. So the examination, you need a separate registration. What we are administering here are classes and providing materials for you to learn, right? So Michelle already answered that. So for the benefit of others, yeah, exam is a separate registration. There's a question about relevant working experience in order to be a CFA charter holder. So there are a few ways to do this. So number one is there's actually like a self-administered quiz available on the CFA Institute official website. You could actually check, or you can write it directly to CFA Institute. But Chikun here actually asked, is a licensed financial planner? Yes, that is considered relevant. I mean, basically, end of the day is this: if you are directly involved in investment decision making, or helping clients make investment decisions, or helping your company make investments, right? It's about making investments or making investment decisions or helping to do that. So that will qualify as relevant working experience. So what is the package included? Okay, so you will actually get the Wiley study materials, right? The Wiley study materials contain the study guide. It contains the question bank, which is on an online portal. There are some other online tools, but Wiley also provide their global instructor videos. So in case you miss the classes with us, which is run live via Zoom, you can actually access Wiley's portal, which is also again password and link is provided to our students, and you can access the Wiley Global videos, right? So all the necessary study notes, PowerPoints, and practice question, mock exam, they're all bundled with the Sunway program. Okay, so it's a very, very comprehensive program. To some extent, you may not even need to read the CFA Institute official text because more or less everything that will be tested is covered in our materials, is included in our materials. Having said that, of course, sometimes if you read the Wiley Study Guide and you find that, okay, maybe the explanation is a bit too brief, okay, then by all means, read up the CFA Institute official text. Okay, so Michelle also provided the link for you to check out the self-assessment for the work experience guidelines. Okay, and then she provided her email. Okay, how relevant is the CFA for a central banker? Okay, I would say it's very relevant. In fact, many of the central bankers around the world, they actually have CFA charter. I know that the big boss at SIDC, that is your regulator, one of the executive directors and several of the other senior members of the team, they are also CFA charter holders as well. So it's not just the fund managers, it's not just the investment bankers, it's not just the investment analysts, right? Central bankers do also take. Now, why is that? Because minimally, right, at level 1, it gives you a very broad exposure into the different types of instruments. It gives you a broad understanding of how markets actually work. So it's certainly very helpful at level 1, even at level 1. Level 2 dives a little bit deeper into valuation. So that is actually particularly helpful for people who want to be a product specialist in an investment bank, or obviously for fund managers and analysts, that's helpful. But if you are wanting to be a product specialist or someone you want to do deals and do valuation of the different types of products, level 2 is very helpful. And then level 3 focuses a lot on the portfolio management. Yeah, that's how basically the 3 levels are kind of split up in terms of the focus areas. Yeah. So even for not just central bankers, but let's say even for people who are into auditing, but if your job is to audit financial institutions, having CFA at least a level 1 and 2 actually will be very helpful, right? Again, in understanding financial markets, in understanding how investment products are being valued and being traded in the markets. Okay.
Okay, I just want to add one point here. So going through the CFA program also help you build up this financial mindset. So how do I actually explain it? So like for example, if you actually go through an engineering course, you tend to have a logical mindset. You build up your you solve problems in a very logical manner, step by step. If you actually go to do arts, you tend to have a more creative mindset. You can look at things more creatively. You can think out of the box. So CFA program is also, help you to grow up this financial mindset. So a lot of times when we actually solve financial problems, like the problems I bring out just now, these are problems you don't find in the textbook solutions. There's no textbook solution. But because, I have a background in CFA, I actually learn different topics. I have a better understanding of financial markets in general, then you are better equipped to solve that problem. So to your question, yes, maybe central banker, you may not even look at numbers. As I understand, you may be doing policy work, may not even have any numbers, but it's that mindset that is actually very important, the financial mindset, especially you actually got, no matter which part of central banker, you can actually deal with a lot of investment professionals.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And a point that Emin mentioned just a while ago, that our program is being taught by subject matter experts. Indeed, this is very, very important for a few reasons, right? Number one, obviously, if you just want to study to pass the exam, then you may not need the subject matter expert at level 1, perhaps, right? But having the subject matter experts, as what Emin mentioned, again helps you with that mindset. That they can actually provide you with real examples of what's happening out there in the real world versus what is textbook, right? And believe me, it's very, very different. And hearing it from someone with 20, 30 years of experience makes a lot of difference. And it certainly can help you or point you to certain resources that is helpful for your career. So that's why this program gives you a very comprehensive view or entry into the financial industry as a career. Now, the other thing is this. Some years ago when I was teaching the program, so I have experience in equities, so I cover quite a lot of topics. But there was one particular weekend where our fixed income lecturer, level 2 fixed income lecturer, he was, I think, stuck somewhere. His flight was cancelled or something. So I had to stand in for him, right? So stand in for a fixed income lecturer, and that's not my area. But I could teach it anyway because the notes are available. I've been teaching at the time for many years, so no problem delivering for exam purposes. Now, in that class happens to be one person who was a fixed income trader from Deutsche Bank. So he actually asked a very, very practical question, which fortunately I could answer. But that actually kind of tells me, and of course, and our setup to ensure that we really must have the right people to teach the programs so that we're able to actually do a good job and really give the right point, the right answers that is posed during class, and rather to give some smoke some question out, some answers out. Yeah. Okay. So I think we've come to the end of today's program, and thank you all of you for tuning in. Yeah, it's like past 10 p.m. already on a weeknight. So thank you once again, and of course thank you, Emin, and thanks
Thank
to
you.
the Sunway Test team for putting all of this together. And of course, we look forward to seeing you guys very soon. All right. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Bye bye.